people in the room. And me, 6. Okay, so are we ready?
Mm-hmm. Ready.
To begin? Okay. So can you go like...
Oh, sure, sorry.
Alright. Hi, my name's Tara Louise Higgins. Thank you for joining me here today. I'm going to share with you a brief history of my first name and my last name. When I first asked my parents what the meaning was behind my first name, my dad told me that in another language, Tara meant, oops, what have we done? So I laughed a little bit curiously, hoping that he was just kidding. And he was. So then they went on to explain that throughout my mother's pregnancy, she thought that I was going to be a boy the whole time. She was told by the doctors, so they had my name picked out as Michael Scott Higgins. So then when they walked into the hospital, they said, if it's a girl, we're going to name her Tara. It was actually between Tara and Victoria, but my aunt had a baby, Victoria, about a month before I was born, so she kind of beat my mom to that name. But I'm glad. I love the name Tara. I think it fits me to a T. After doing some research for the assignment, I found that the meaning of Tara comes from Ireland, which I like because both my grandparents were from Ireland, and I didn't really get to know them that much, so it's nice to know that we have that correlation. In Ireland, the reference is to the hill of Tara, Temher na Rí. It actually means the seat of kings of Ireland, and it's up on a hill of Ireland where the kings used to sit. I believe that Margaret Mitchell, who's the original author of Gone with the Wind, knew that reference, and that's where she came up with the name Tara in Gone with the Wind. That's the name of the plantation that Scarlett lives on. So I don't know if you guys have seen the movie or not, but throughout the movie, Scarlett goes and travels. She lives in different places, and she always wants to return home to Tara. That's her home. And so even though she lives in different places, she marries a couple different men, she always knows that home is where Tara is. So, another meaning of Tara comes from Buddhism, which I think is cool because I've always been interested in it, and it actually is the female version of the male Buddha. So I hope that that's the only correlation and that they also don't share the similarities of the big belly. I think that the first name is very important. It's the first thing that someone learns about you. It's not quite the same as a first impression, but it is the first piece of information that people find out about you. So I think it would be hard if you weren't comfortable with your name or you didn't like it. But again, I think my name fits me well. The next piece of information that people find out about you is your last name. My last name is Higgins, and the difference between the last name is that it's hereditary. A lot of people pass down their last name generation to generation, and in the United States, when you marry someone, you keep your husband's last name. So it's kind of a weird thing to think that you lose your last name. You're losing this piece of history about yourself. So even though you're taking on a new last name and a new family and a new history, you're still losing your last name. So, as it stands, my last name is Higgins. So, I just want to tell you a little bit about that. In Ireland, it's also from Ireland. It can also be found in England. In England, it was taken from the first name Richard, and it came from a nickname they used to call Richard Hig, and then Hig became Higgins. But in Ireland, which is where my family was from, Higgins was known as, it was O'Huigan, and they were high-status poets between the 14th and 17th centuries. One of the first Higgins to come to America was Richard Higgins, and he landed in Plymouth Rock in 1633. So his family settled in Maine, and he was thought to have 165 descendants. So, in conclusion, I'm very blessed to know the origin of my first and last name and how they're connected. And it's a nice way to share something with my grandparents and my current family. And this history is something I'm going to keep with me going forward. Okay. Yay. Thank you. How long was that? It was way over.
No.